support systems.
Just about 2 minutes until touchdown.
Because the hatches are
the altitude
closed
is 900.
between both the Dragon
900
and
meters
the
off the
International
ground.
Space Station. There is a gap called the vestibule in between them that's currently at vacuum. That vestibule has been exposed to the vacuum of space on the forward end of the International Docking Adapter. So in bringing the pressure back up, there may be swings. Because of the temperature variation, there may be swings that need to dampen out before an effective leak check could take place. So the process of repressurizing the vestibule in between those two hatches does take
Can you see the ground?
Quite a long time. It's expected
the
to
altitude
be about 2
is 700.
hours until both of the hatches are open because of the length of time of repressuring that vestibule. Now from the station side, Victor Glover will outfit the 8-pass hatch. That's the one on the station side. He'll open it up and remove at once the
just over a minute until touchdown, 600 meters off the ground.
And remove the docking target and install some padding onto the 8-pass hatch so that there's no unnecessary contact as astronauts are coming through the hatch from Crew Dragon to come inside of the forward end of the International Space Station.
On 2 on the big loop, you are go to pick up in ingress part 1, step 1. Note that the pre-ingress ventilation in step 1.6 is not required.
Okay, picking up step 1 and 1.6 not required.
Dragon SpaceX, no response required, but ISS power connection has been established.
There you go. So Victor Glover on the International Space Station side already going through his procedures to get the hatches configured for ingress, essentially supporting the opening of the hatches, repressurizing in the vestibule. There's a lot to happen before we can open up the hatch and welcome the crew on the inside. The umbilical has been fully extended, and we just got confirmation that Dragon is drawing power from the International Space Station, so the solar arrays on the station providing power downstream to the Dragon. Dragon no longer needing to rely on its power. That officially confirmed. It will again take some time until the Dragon hatches are open. Our Dragon and Space Station hatches are open. And we've noticed for the past 2 times that Crew Dragons have docked to the station. The past 2 times being when Crew was aboard for Demo 2 and for Crew 1. We did notice that the crew inside Dragon took some time before to get themselves situated, make sure everything on the Dragon side was configured before they left it and entered into the International Space Station. We should see celebratory hugs from the crew on board as they make their way one at a time, as they'll be together for the next few days until they have to say farewell to the Crew 1 astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Shannon Walker handing over command of the International Space Station. Before she does that, she's going to hand command over to Aki Hoshide, who's currently on board Crew 2. He'll take the responsibility of International Space Station commander through the duration of Expedition 65 until he's ready to hand it off to the next crew. That all happening in the next couple of days.
(2:17 a.m. Central Time, 3:17 a.m. Eastern Time).
Please assume your positions relative to the vehicle. Not relative to me, but relative to the vehicle. To Cosmos, what is the position of the object? It is on its side. Cosmos to 429. Please write down the coordinates. 4724 north.
And on the front screen of the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow, the words Jest Posadka, they've landed, and a welcome home for Loral O'Hara, as well as for Marina Vasilevskaya and Oleg Novitsky.
Космос, передавайте, передам 409. 409 вам космос передает Можайская ждем. Мягкая посадка.
We've momentarily lost the video from the landing site. That means that the television cameras operated by RSC Energia from all-terrain vehicles at the landing site, they have momentarily terminated their signal, as those vehicles will now drive to the capsule, where they will reestablish video as soon as they reach that area. Once again, a perfect touchdown for Loral O'Hara, Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya. This is Mission Control Houston. The report from the search and recovery forces at the landing site indicating that the Soyuz landed on its side and that the crew is feeling good as they await the arrival of the Rosaviatsa search and recovery team to begin the process of extracting them from the descent module. Again, the Soyuz landed on its side, which is typical. About 50% of these landings will see the Soyuz dragged by wind in the area that captures the chutes and pulls the capsule onto its side, as opposed to landing upright. But the important thing is that the crew is in good shape, according to the search and recovery forces, who have voice communication with Oleg Novitsky, the Soyuz commander, inside the descent module. Landing again occurring at 2:17 a.m. Central Time, 3:17 a.m. Eastern Time, 12:17 p.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan, about 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan. This is Mission Control Houston. The Soyuz, with its 3 occupants, landed about 10 minutes ago. Just about a pinpoint landing to the southeast of Zhezkazgan and right on time. The search and recovery forces are in the process of moving toward the vehicle to begin ensuring that the vehicle is safe before they begin the work to extract the crew, who will be placed in chairs by the capsule for a few minutes to get their land legs back. Loral O'Hara coming home after 204 days in space. Novitsky and Vasilevskaya after 2 weeks aboard the vehicle and 12 days aboard the International Space Station. The landing was on time. All of the undocking and landing sequence events went as planned, per the schedule, no issues. And Novitsky has reported several times that the crew is feeling well. The Soyuz did land on its side after touchdown. As we await the search and recovery forces making their way toward the Soyuz MS-24, following the on-time landing of the 3 crew members on board, Loral O'Hara, Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya, joining us here on console is the ISS Program Manager, Joel Montalbano. Good morning, Joel, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Rob. Awesome landing. That was just fantastic to see the crew home.
So thoughts about Loral's return to Earth after 204 days, 6.5 months aboard the station, and the completion of Expedition 70 with all of the science that was accomplished as well as the other objectives?
You know, with the return of Expedition 70, we're running just under 4,000 investigations since Expedition 0 on board the International Space Station. And the cool thing about this crew is they were up there when we celebrated 25 years of the International Space Station, and how it's changed over those 25 years, from, you know, the assembly of ISS to the research and science we're doing on board, the technology development we're doing on board, the commercialization activities on board, and just awesome to see Expedition 70 participate that and add to the great statistics we have on board the International Space Station.
Joel, from flight director to director of human spaceflight in Russia to deputy ISS program manager to the ISS program manager, you've spent about 2 decades very closely involved in the evolution of NASA's relationship with Roscosmos, the European Space Agency, the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency, in seeing the space station expand and flourish. What have been the major milestones you've seen during this time that has made the ISS the complex it is today?
You know, some of the coolest milestones that I think we've done as a partnership is, you know, first going from 3 crew members to 6 crew members. You add then a step up to the incorporation of the U.S. commercial crew vehicles, and what we've been able to do with the SpaceX Dragons recently with the private astronaut missions, how we're incorporating more and more of the commercial aspect into the International Space Station. And, you know, one of the things that I like is when I look around the partnership, I see a lot of the ISS experience we have with our international partners moving on to our next programs, moving on to our exploration, and taking the lessons learned and the expertise that we've gained on board the space station and playing that forward such that we can be even more successful as we look past to low Earth orbit.
The ISS today, when it's all said and done, has a lot of life left, but if you had to write the history book right now of the space station, what do you think its lasting legacy is going to be?
To me, the lasting legacy is the international cooperation. We have set the standard on what it takes to cooperate across the globe. You know, through the 25 years of International Space Station, we have incorporated activities from over 110 countries across the globe. And I think that when you look forward and you kind of look and write about the International Space Station, you're going to write about the international cooperation and what we've done as a human race.
You know, as they say in life, one door closes, another one opens, and today's landing is a fitting end, if not bittersweet for you possibly, to your tenure as ISS program manager. As you hand over the reins to Dana Weigel, your deputy, she'll become program manager. Your new job, a tough one, a challenging one, Deputy Associate Administrator for Space Operations. What do you foresee as your expanded role for NASA and your new position as we press ahead not only with the International Space Station, but the Artemis program and all of the rest?
You know, I see my role as helping the team focus as we look at space station through the end of the decade. You know, what do we need to continue doing? What do we need to do on space station to help the exploration effort? What do we need to do to make that Artemis program even more successful? I see my new role as helping develop these commercialization activities, these new space stations that we want in low Earth orbit, and what we can do within the Space Operations Mission Directorate, and how to encourage that, to expand that, and do the best we can to make sure when we move forward with space station that the next programs are taking all our lessons learned, using those, and moving as quickly as they can as they develop forward.
Joel, it's been quite a ride and a pleasure to have come this far with you, with lots more stories yet to come.
Rob, thank you very much. You guys have, this is an awesome team to work with. It's humbling. It's been an honor to do what I've been able to do, and I look forward to helping wherever I can in the future. So thank you very much.
Joel Montalbano, the ISS program manager, with us following the textbook landing of the Soyuz MS-24 as we await the resumption of video from the landing site as the recovery process will begin to extract the crew members from the descent module. And as they say, timing is everything, as we now are back at the landing site, watching the beginning of the extraction of the crew, the search and recovery forces, the RSC Energia personnel on the scene to begin removing the crew members one by one. They'll be placed in chairs right by the capsule so that they can have a few minutes to regain their land legs.
В эфире. Я стою, да, на одном месте.
Yeah, I'm here in this location.
Again, the scene at the landing site where the Soyuz MS-24 touched down about 20 minutes ago.
What are you guys doing here?
You can see the 3 chairs set up for the crew members who will be extracted and placed in those chairs to have a few minutes to regain their land legs. They'll then be carried into a nearby inflatable medical tent for preliminary medical exams and to remove their Sokol launch and entry suits. In the blue flight suit that you see there, that's NASA chief photographer Bill Ingalls from NASA headquarters. He was aboard one of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters to photograph the Soyuz descent and touchdown, now by the capsule, waiting for the crew to be extracted.
Can you please move away? We're on air live.
Once again, the work continuing by the RSC Energia personnel to talk to the crew and run through the post-landing procedures. Novitsky in the center seat of the Soyuz descent module. On his right, Loral O'Hara. On his left, Marina Vasilevskaya, the three to be extracted just a short time from now. They'll be put in those chairs that you saw just a moment or two ago for a few minutes before they will be carried in those chairs to the nearby inflatable medical tent for post-landing medical tests and to change into more comfortable flight clothing.
All right. Grab the leg and grab the arm. Looks like everything is fine.
This should be the Soyuz commander, Oleg Novitsky. First out from the center seat. That makes the extraction of the other two much easier.
We are broadcasting straight to MCCM.
Все, есть удочка.
Oleg Novitsky completing the fourth flight in his career, 545 days in space.
We have the sound. The second crew member is being extracted from the descent module.
The stark landscape of the Kazakh steppe as recovery operations are continuing with the extraction of the crew, all in good shape, according to Novitsky. Once again, Oleg Novitsky looking none the worse for wear after 14 days in space.
Could you please move a little bit away? Very gently, easy. The leg got stuck. Okay. Over there.
And Loral O'Hara now out of the Soyuz MS-24. O'Hara back on Earth after 204 days in space.
У меня нету больше. Нету тебе? А нету, говорите, меня? Нету? Ну ладно.
Можно? Я сейчас когда сюда посмотрю. Аккуратнее, тут провод. О, смотрите.
Be careful, there is a wire around here.
Давай. Друг другу не мешаем.
All right. Please do not interfere with each other's actions.
Заглядывай, будешь. Все, теперь не мешаем. Здравствуй, красавица. Ну вот ты дома.
And the crew's awaiting the extraction of Marina Vasilovskaya, the last one out. A very swift extraction process coming just 30 minutes after touchdown on the steppe of Kazakhstan, about 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Jezkazgan.
Так, ноги, потихоньку, ноги.
Be careful with her legs.
Правую досталось? Так, давай назад чуть-чуть.
Just move a little bit back.
Спокойно, дыши ровненько, не торопись. Подожди, стой.
Breathe easy. Don't pant.
Она еще снизу. Давай вот чуть-чуть. Лопку назад. И потом вверх. И вперед. Опять.
Hold on just a little bit. Don't rush. There is no rush.
Там не прошли.
All the hoses are through.
Так, давай, я выпущу почти. Давай, на меня. Ладно,
Okay.
And here comes Marina Vasilovskaya, the Belarus spaceflight participant who wrapped up 2 weeks in space, 12 days aboard the International Space Station.
Easy, easy.
Ступня свободна? Ступня свободна?
Is your foot loose?
Нет, нормально, не надо. За ручку зацепилась. Туда. Давай. Назад пошла.
So, move a little bit back. Don't pant. Breathe easy.
А можно еще раз повернуть?
Could you please turn it our way?
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Берите здесь. Тихо, стоп.
All right, please grab her. Very careful with her leg. All right, got her.
Marina Vasilovskaya now out of the Soyuz MS-24. All 3 crew members enjoying sunshine and fresh air.
Just keep your distance. Please move away a little bit. A little further. Don't overcrowd, please. Take a couple of steps back. 2 more steps back, please, everyone.
Звук нормально, хороший, пойдет.
Have you done the tests? Yes.
Just to recap, we are continuing to receive television from the landing site.
To move a little bit away. Hello,
The Soyuz MS-24 landed right on time at 2:17 a.m. Central Time, 3:17 a.m. Eastern Time, 12:17 p.m. at the landing site.
Pickles for you. Here you go. How do you feel? Marina, you look beautiful. Everyone is saying a big hello to you. You're our heroine. We are so proud of you. And we brought these flowers for you to say thank you to your heroic deed. And here's some juice. I'm overwhelmed with emotions. It's something incredible. And I wish all people on earth to treasure and cherish what they have, because this is precious. We knew that we were awaited here on the ground, and I thank all people of Belarus. We had a lot of activities on board, and we actually wanted to stay a little longer, but it's great to be back. It was awesome to be on board the station.
Ее закрыли опять. Я тебе говорю, закрыли ее опять.
Thank you so very much. I'm so glad to see you all. So, Marina, we all tried to bring you something, but are you hungry? at this very moment. No, not at all. We just had breakfast. I'm just overwhelmed with emotions. I'm not hungry at all. I'm so glad to see you all. Thank you for your support. The weather is great. It's sunny. It's warm. We were actually praying to the steppe gods for this weather. Thank you all who supported me, who rooted for me. I feel excellent, feel great. I now understand why people want to be cosmonauts. When I saw this with my own eyes, I understood why I'm here.
The crew answering a few questions from some of the members of the media gathered at the landing site. There's a wide view you can see in the background, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter, part of the Rosaviatsa Search and Recovery Force team. All three crew members out of the descent module, all feeling well, they report. Soon to be carried in those chairs to the nearby inflatable medical tent for medical exams and to change out of those Sokol launch and entry suits.
Please say something for your relatives. No, I know that all of you guys have been watching my descent from the mission control. We feel awesome. Everything has been great. Thank you very much.
After the brief period of medical exams, the three crew members will be brought to three different helicopters for a 2-hour flight back to the staging city of Karaganda, Kazakhstan, where they will split up. Loral O'Hara boarding a NASA plane to fly back to Houston, while Novitsky and Vasilevskaya board a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft to fly back to their training base in Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow.
Marina, can you turn it our way? You can put it here.
Скажите, что прямой эфир.
Can you please tell them that we are live on air?
And a good view of Loral O'Hara with a thumbs up. Each of the crew members being presented with a Matryoshka doll, the stacking dolls that bear the resemblance of each crew member.
All right, you guys are good? Yes. All right. Не надо, спасибо.
Are you guys ready? Is it long? Is it far away? No, it's not. It's about 100 meters away. I was amazed to see our beautiful Earth from space. We came here from Belarus and covered Marina Vasilevskaya with flowers. Right now we have the Belarus delegation, medical team, and other support personnel around Marina. Marina is in excellent health.
Welcome home.
NASA astronaut Loral O'Hara flashing a smile. Back home after 204 days in space.
Place all three crew members closer to each other.
They're asking all the docs if it would be okay to bring the chairs in closer a little bit.
Не мешает? Да, конечно, мешает. Она в кадре прям. Ну, давай сюда. Ну что? Лег назад немножко, тоже с удочкой. Назад. Да, чуть-чуть. Ее опять закрыли.
So, give us 2 to 3 minutes. Marina, how can you compare launch and landing? I can't really. They're very different. During launch, you can feel the rocket, the launch vehicle. It's rumbling, it's vibrating, it's amazing. And then after about 10 minutes, you feel that you are in weightlessness. And when you land, the parachute deployment is a big deal, and you feel it. All right, they will be starting transporting the crew commander. Please make way.
And now the process of bringing the crew members one by one in their chairs to the nearby inflatable medical tent, Novitsky first.
Be very careful, there are some wires on the ground.
And in a tradition, Novitsky signing his name to his Soyuz spacecraft.
Thank you for your work. All right, I'm done. Please sit in your seat.
Не заваливайся, сзади кто-то держит. Шнурок сзади. Друг другу не мешаем. Рез, два.
Oleg Novitsky being carried, as is the tradition, into the inflatable medical tent nearby, where he will undergo initial medical exams and change into more comfortable clothing, removing his Sokol launch and entry suit.
All right, let's
Loral O'Hara up next.
let's carry her to the tent.
There's Vasilevskaya.
Have you ever had a ride like this? Never. First time in my life.
So you've been watching a video from the landing site where Soyuz MS-24 touched down at 2:17 a.m. Central Time, 3:17 a.m. Eastern Time. It was a perfect landing, all of the undocking, and there's a replay of the Soyuz under the chutes that we saw live less than an hour ago. The Soyuz landing, you'll see the soft landing engines fire and the parachute reefing. And there was touchdown, 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, Kazakhstan, bringing home Loral O'Hara of NASA after 204 days in space, Soyuz commander Oleg Novitsky, who completed his fourth flight into space with an aggregate total of 545 days to his credit, and Belarus spaceflight participant Marina Vasilevskaya. Once again, the crew members now in the inflatable medical tent that is erected close to the capsule itself. They will receive preliminary medical exams, get out of their Sokol launch and entry suits, and then they'll be placed in 3 helicopters, one for each crew member, to fly 2 hours back to the staging city of Karaganda, Kazakhstan, where O'Hara will board a NASA plane bound for Houston. Novitsky and Vasilevskaya will climb aboard a Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center aircraft to fly back to their training base in Star City, Russia, outside of Moscow. So with Soyuz MS-24 safely back on Earth and the 3 crew members in good shape, next up, an astronomical phenomenon that doesn't occur every day, the well-publicized and much-anticipated total solar eclipse that will cross the United States on Monday, April 8th. NASA television will provide end-to-end coverage of the eclipse beginning at 12 noon Central Time on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, with locations throughout the United States participating in the revelry of this rarely seen event where the moon will pass directly in front of the sun, creating darkness in areas of the United States that will be seeing at least partial, if not total, shadowing of the Earth. We will also be receiving views of the moon shadow on the Earth from the crew aboard the International Space Station. External cameras on the station will be trained on the Earth during a time frame of about 2:39 to 2:49 p.m. Central Time, 3:29 to 3:39 p.m. Eastern Time, as part of the live coverage of the 2024 total solar eclipse of the sun. So be sure to tune in for that on Monday, April 8th. For now, that will wrap up our coverage of the return to Earth of Loral O'Hara, Oleg Novitsky, and Marina Vasilevskaya, all three safely back on Earth. Thank you for tuning in throughout the course of the night. Have a great weekend and enjoy that total eclipse on Monday. For now, this is Mission Control Houston.